Hi, this is Natalia with ASVAB Success, and I am here with Staff Sergeant Wallace from the U.S. Air Force. She is located in Texarkana, Texas, and she has done us the favor of just kind of meeting with me today to be able to answer some of the questions you guys have out there. Staff Sergeant Wallace, if you don't mind telling us a little bit about yourself, where you're located, and how we can reach you if we need to.
Yes, ma'am. So I am Staff Sergeant Kadira Wallace. I've been serving in the Air Force a little over 12 years now. By trade, I was an aviation manager. I conducted airspace scheduling. So basically telling the aircraft where to go, the type of missions that they performed, and the authorized personnel for each mission. Now I have the pleasure of being a recruiter and changing lives. I am located in Central Mall in Texarkana, Texas. For any of you who may be out this way, I definitely love to see you in person. Or if you all ever had any further questions, then you can reach me at 903-949-1368.
Awesome. Thank you, Staff Sergeant Wallace. So I wanted to ask you, the first thing people ask me usually is like, what kind of things should I talk about with my Air Force recruiter or with my recruiter in general? As an Air Force recruiter, and you've been doing this, you have experience of not just being a recruiter, but also being recruited. What would you recommend that people, talk to their recruiter about?
I would definitely say go in with an open mind. Go in knowing that it's going to be a new experience. There's no fear at all. When speaking to an Air Force recruiter, we're literally here to inform, mentor, and guide you all to any path that you are wishing to take. I would go in, one, being honest. You definitely would like to be transparent with your recruiter.
Mhm.
Any past medical issues that you may have had, it's best to disclose upfront so that we can help you out and work through those issues, as well as any law violations. Fret not, because there are a lot of things that we do work through. Anything as simple as a speeding ticket or a parking ticket, all the way up to maybe possession of marijuana. A lot of people feel that they are disqualified, or they'll self-proclaim themselves as disqualified when that is
Wow.
not true. We can work through a lot of law violations, so definitely disclose those things up front.
Wow. Okay. That's really good to know, actually. I'm glad you said that. And let's say, because you mentioned the whole thing about like medical conditions. What if I have no idea because I haven't been to a doctor in a while? What can I do in that situation?
If you had not been to a doctor and you do not have any past diagnosis,
Hmm.
then I would say proceed with your process. And if there is anything that would be disqualifying, then that would be found during the physical at the military entry processing station, which is a designated location for all the branches to enlist applicants at.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. Um, and are there any like special programs that you recommend? I guess specifically for the Air Force, are there any special programs right now that you think that people should learn about or look into?
Um, I always like to think of the Air Force as an oyster. Always getting your foot into the door in a preferred job or a preferred AFSC, Air Force Specialty Code, as we say. A lot of other branches may refer to them as MOSs, but a preferred job or a job or skill that you've never thought of. Come in, you're automatically enrolled into the community college of the Air Force, regardless of your job. So, like for myself, I obtained my CCAF degree, Community College of the Air Force degree in aviation management. At 18, I had no idea what that meant. I was fresh out of high school. And I was just excited that my recruiter had explained to me from the time that I was in basic military training to tech school. that I was obtaining college credits just for showing up and initially putting my foot into the Air Force.
That's amazing.
Um, yes, ma'am. So we are the only branch with our own community college. So that is great within itself. We have numerous commissioning programs. If one were interested in becoming an officer, you can apply as early as your first year of serving.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's very cool. I did not know that. That's interesting. So you say, just get in whatever it is, and once you're in, you can move around to different, you said they're called AFCs?
AFSC, so Air Force Specialty Codes.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so just anything to get you in the door is good. Cool.
Yes, ma'am.
Good to
So I
know.
just want to touch on that just a little.
Of course.
So there is no confusion. So you come in initially into your assigned AFSC, the job that you qualify for and enlist with. If you're on a 4-year contract, then you can change your job, your AFSC, Air Force Specialty Code, after 3 years.
Hmm.
Oh, excuse me, 35 months for 4 years, or 59 months for a 6-year contract.
Okay. And after, like, let's say if I come in with a 4-year contract, I can continue renewing those contracts, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Good to know. And then you know what? I know that other branches talk about like signing bonuses for certain jobs if you qualify for them, or a signing bonus if you score higher than something, you'll be able to qualify for anything like that. Do you guys have that in the Air Force as well?
We do have sign-on bonuses. They are for specific jobs, so special warfare jobs, and language, just to name a couple off the top of my head.
Okay, cool. And I can find information on those. Do you guys have that on the Air Force website? Can I do my own research?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
ma'am. So a lot of research as far as authenticity can be found on airforce.com. So if you all are looking for a local recruiter, if you all are looking for maybe a special warfare recruiter, that would be a different echelon to recruiting just into the regular Air Force. You all can find out about the officer programs that we have out there for college students who may have already obtained a bachelor's degree, or if you're fresh out of high school and just looking to enlist, there is a plethora of different jobs that we offer as a whole.
Okay, so let's say I am thinking about joining the Air Force. I go onto the Air Force website, I find a recruiter. What other things should I look at on the website before I call the recruiter?
So I know a lot of people come in and they think that they've got to have basically this long line of educational prerequisites prior to coming into the recruiting office. Is not the case. You can come in with or without a high school diploma. You can
Okay.
come in with or without a GED, or you can come in with a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. Or you
Okay.
can come in without no education at all, which is it would just require a little bit higher scoring on the actual ASVAB.
Okay, good to know. Very cool. And let me ask you also, because this is something that I hear a lot as well. Are there certain age requirements to be able to enlist?
So we recruit from the ages of 17 to 39.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, cool. Is it, if let's say I'm in my mid to late 30s, can I qualify for any job, or is it only specific jobs that I can qualify for once I'm in that age group?
No, ma'am, you qualify for every single job as if you walked in to the office at 17 or 18 years old, fresh out of high school. There are no limitations on the job qualifications when it comes to age.
Okay, awesome. And are there any limitations in regards to like citizenship or residency, or like a person's status in this country?
Yes, ma'am. You can be a U.S. citizen,
Mhm.
or you can obtain your citizenship upon BMT graduation.
Okay. Okay, cool. So that's something,
Yes,
again, depending if where I'm at, I can talk about with the recruiter.
yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Okay. So just a couple questions, I guess, about your experience in the Air Force. Um, what do you like the most about being in the Air Force?
I would say the most beautiful experiences, if I may name two.
Okay, yeah, of course.
One would be the traveling. As I had mentioned, as you and I were conversing previously, I've been to over 15 countries, been blessed to touch many lands. And I would say the camaraderie.
Mm,
The camaraderie is what I hold near and dear to my heart. Um, I've had the pleasure of having brothers and sisters in arms worldwide.
how cool. I love that. I love that. And when you first got in, I know you mentioned you've been in the Air Force for 12 years now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. What was it like when you first got in? Was it difficult for you? Did you feel like the process was easy?
I had an amazing recruiter. At the time, she was Sergeant Amber Bullard. Now she is Major Amber Bullard. I still keep in touch with her, still reach out to her 12 years later for mentorship. So she made my process extremely comfortable. Um, she implemented a lot of mentorship while I was in her delayed entry program, as well as compassion, genuinely caring, and also educating me on every single step of the process and ensuring that I remain qualified. Um,
Mm,
so yeah, I had an amazing process. Now going into BMT in a basic military training, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a challenge. We learned to push ourselves a lot harder
mm.
than we had ever anticipated. I still keep in touch with my military training instructor as well.
Oh, that's so.
Um, yes, ma'am. She is a retired Chief Master Sergeant in E9. She was Chief Master Sergeant Wallace, and she pushed us harder than we ever could have thought as far as limitations. Your MTIs are there to teach you to never give up,
Mm,
to speak life into you and parts of you that you never even thought could be brought to life. So that was an amazing experience. And then the camaraderie with that, the sisterhood. So when you go to BMT, you are assigned specifically to a male flight if you are a male, and specifically to a female flight if you are female.
mm.
And we literally, you literally become sisters because you're all you have.
Wow.
So someone may be good at folding shirts, another may be good at making beds, another may be amazing at drill. And wherever certain weaknesses are, we pick up on each other's strengths. So that was a lot of fun. And then the next step after that graduation was technical training, tech school. I had actually completed my tech school training down in Biloxi, Mississippi. And
Mm.
that's where you get into it is solely an academic environment.
Okay.
So you're learning those fundamentals in your job,
Mhm.
and it's a new experience. And you get bright eyed and bushy tailed because you're like, now I finally get to, get my feet wet. I finally get insight on what I'm going to be doing, how I'm going to be serving in the Air Force, how I'm going to be contributing to the mission. And yeah, it's a typical college day. It may start at like 7:30 to about 3:30, and then you're out of class for the rest of the day, but you have study mates. You have again your brothers and sisters in arms where you push each other. You may be good at note cards, whereas the other person's better at highlighting. You come together and you use those strengths to get past that next step as well. So
I love that.
um
I love that.
yes, ma'am.
I feel like everything you're saying is just like the evidence of that camaraderie you were talking about. Like you can see it in everything that you've experienced. That's so cool. That's super cool. So last question, what advice would you give to someone that is trying to figure out how to enter into military and whether they even should, and maybe you're having even a hard time with the ASVAB? What would you say to them?
With the ASVAB, actually, excuse me for referring. So with the ASVAB studying, you definitely want to brush up on arithmetic reasoning, math knowledge, paragraph comprehension, and word knowledge.
Mm.
Um, Now, when you take the practice test, some recruiting offices may refer to it as an enlisted screening test. There's also the PICAT option. When you take those tests, specifically, I refer to the enlisted screening test, the EAST. It is a percentage-based test where all four components are combined into one accumulative score. Um, so you may walk out the office and your recruiter's like, "Great job, you scored a 40,"
Mhm.
or "Hey, great job, you scored a 35." That is percentage based. Now the actual ASVAB is point based, where you are um, tested in mechanical, admin, general, and electrical components. Now, at the end of the actual ASVAB, all of those are accumulated into one score, and you'll have the QT score. The minimum to get in would be a 31 or a 33, and that's just for the QT score. My advice for anybody who may be looking for specific job fields, mechanical for example, I would say push yourself to score over a 47.
Okay.
For administrative, for anybody that may be looking for more of an office job, you definitely want to push yourself to score over a 41 specifically in that component. General would be a 44, and there's a plethora of jobs that fall under general. We've got some IT jobs that may fall under the general component, as well as very few medical jobs that may fall under that component, or a few operation jobs. Electrical, if you're looking on working on the schematics of an aircraft or some portion of avionics, you got to push that score all the way up to a 70 at the minimum.
Okay. Okay, good to know. Thank you. All right, so everybody out there, I hope you're taking notes. You know now what to aim for. This is good. It's always great to have a goal to move towards rather than just blindly taking the test and hoping to land somewhere. It's always good to know where you're going. Thank you so much for that. That really helps. Um, well, I think that's it. Thank you so much once again, Staff Sergeant Wallace, for taking this time to meet with us and to tell us about your experience and to give us your advice. I think everyone is a little more motivated about joining the military after hearing your story and about how awesome it is to have that support and that camaraderie. And also the traveling, that's something amazing to look forward to.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And for those of you who have tuned in, thanks for joining us. And good luck as you keep studying for the ASVAB.
Good luck, everybody, and thank you again for your time, ma'am. And I hope to cross paths with all of you who enter the Air Force. So thank you so much, and good luck to everybody.